It's the Full Force News Burst Extra, brought to you by GeneralsJoesReborn.com, with me, Christopher McLeod AKA Diagnostic 80. With a number of new name-only reveals emerging over the past few weeks, it's time to deep dive on a character that divides opinion in the fandom. So let's talk Classified Raptor. Is there a more bonkers character in the G.I. Joe universe than the yuppie tax consultant turned falconer, Raptor? Probably not, but let's delve into this interesting beast anyway. Raptor landed in the US in 1987 and featured one of the weirdest file card descriptions ever constructed. See my previous statement about a yuppie tax consultant. Apparently Destro caught him poaching on a cobra mink farm and decided he must offer him a job. Insane backstory aside, I was always drawn to the figure because it looked so cool and came with a frickin' falcon called Talon, which seemed to be completely forgotten by Joe kids early on because that information only appeared down the side of the bubble, which was usually ripped off the card as soon as the figure had been purchased. Anyway, Talon was a huge selling point for me because animal companions just kick all sorts of ass. What was even cooler was the design of this guy: a cowl, soft goods wing backpack, feathered gloves, a red necklace that I always thought was a bird whistle, a flashy silver bird belt buckle, brown leather trousers, and those amazing clawed bird feet boots. Oh, and he was topless to boot. Rocking eye makeup Zartan would be proud of, and so much so that Big Z completely ripped off his vibe years later, but we will get to that shortly. Yeah, Raptor was an actual savage and I absolutely loved him for it. We got him in 1989 in the UK on an Action Force card, and there was only one small change to the bio, replacing Attacker G.I. Joe with Attacker Man. He showed up in animated form but in commercials only, and of course featured somewhat heavily in the A Real American Hero comic, starring in issue 59, until he was unceremoniously bumped off in the famous Tanker storyline, and confirmed as such in issue 116. Raptor also made a brief appearance in the G.I. Joe The Action Force 1991 annual in a text story called Action of the Tiger. These text stories would also feature a smattering of exclusive artwork, but were mainly intended to fill the annuals with content that didn't require entire visual comic stories to be produced. He also features in the Ballantine young adult fiction novel Divide and Conquer, written by Margot Becker. The Earl Norham cover artwork is probably my favourite Raptor art ever produced in actual fact. As far as figures go, however, there's not a great deal to discuss. His vintage figure in 1987 of course, and then what can only be described as a pretty obvious homage to the character in 2010 with the Pursuit of Cobra Zartan version 20. The figure not only resembled Raptor in design and deco, but also came with a falcon that could sit atop a perched staff. It also had a tiny removable hood. What was interesting about this figure was the fact that parts of it, the upper legs anyway, would be used again for the FSS Volume 5 Raptor figure for the Collectors Club in 2017. This figure was a great update to the original and featured some very inventive parts reuse. The cloth wings made way for the Jungle Viper's futuristic ghillie suit, and the falcon, removable hood and staff returned from that 2010 Zartan figure to come full circle. Even Destro's boots with the spikes made for cool looking talons, and that new headdress was the icing on the bird cake, completing the modern upgrade. What the hell is a bird cake? This update alone makes me excited to see what direction the Classified team goes in. Will they aim for the vintage with a soft goods cloak style, or will they take a leaf out of the Pursuit of Cobra design and give him crazy cool wings that offer a lot more versatility and look bloody awesome? Either way, I look forward to seeing this one. We of course already know that he will be a deluxe figure, so expect something significant like the modern wings and bird perch for one or more falcons. That said, do they give him multiple birds, or do they load him up with accessories? That is the big question. I could see them giving him a few animal companions just because he isn't a troop builder and it would be a touch harder to army build them in that sense. I would even like them to include some items that point towards his accountancy specialty. Chuckle's file and briefcase would be fun additions. Just give them a different deco and put a new Tampo image on the file. I could even see them reusing the Sarge's whistle in red to follow on from the red whistle included in the 2017 figure. I hope we get a lot of new tooling in addition to the obvious headdress, but I would love to see new wrist secondaries and moulded gloves to really get a good approximation of that original figure, plus he needs those talon tipped boots and the feathered shoulder pads to really make me happy. The rest of the figure is almost certainly an easy reuse of the standard topless torso and upper arms we have already seen with figures like Mindbender and so on. That's pretty much all I have for Raptor. A very interesting and definitely quirky addition to that 87 roster of complete mental cases, but I am so happy we'll be seeing him again soon in the Classified series. Plus, now Spirit and Freedom will have an enemy foil to battle against. Anyway, what do you guys think? Are you excited for Raptor in the Classified series? Do you like the thought of getting another new animal companion in the line? Will Clutch's Vamp get covered in falcon shit? white as soon as he's washed it, not Lieutenant Falcon? Let me know in the comments below. Okay team, lots more content to come, so keep it locked, stay fresh cheese bags, and as always, full force. That's it for this instalment of the Full Force News Burst Extra. Thank you for watching, make sure to like, comment and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on X, formerly Twitter, @The Full Force, liking the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Full Force. We've also added a brand new Instagram, so check us out there as well, @The Full Force Podcast, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on any of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/The Full Force Podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force!